Hello everyone, nice to see you again. Today I'm going to explain to you some of the differences between some of those commonly confused words in English. Here are the words we're going to look at today in this video. If there are some of these that you already know, well, if you look at the bar below, you can find the ones you want to listen to and skip the ones you don't want to listen to. Or, if you want to practice them all, just watch the whole video. Also, save this video, and then when you come across these words in the future and you think, what did Archie say? You can come back to it again. Remember to subscribe and like this video. Now, I don't want to waste any more time. Let's get started. So, my name's Archie. Probably you've already met me before, but if you haven't, nice to meet you. Let's start with the first two words. So what's the difference between a sound and a voice? Well, a sound is anything. Anything can make a sound. A person can make a sound, an animal can make a sound, a thing can make a sound. When we talk about a voice, then we're only talking about people, and a voice cannot be made by an animal, and it cannot be made by an object. A voice isn't even made. A voice is something that we have. So people, every person has their own voice. And we can have a beautiful voice, an awful voice, a boring voice, a high voice, or a low voice. So these are ways we describe our voices. A voice is a collection of all the sounds that one person makes with their mouth. And that's how we recognise that person. Sometimes you might pick up the phone and you don't see who it is, but you already know because you hear their voice and you think, oh, I know who that is. That is my friend, Tom. Some example sentences. Don't make a sound. The cat is making a strange sound. The broken glass made a sound when I walked on it. He has a wonderful voice. She has such a beautiful voice. The teacher's voice is so boring. The next two words are go and come. Now, when we go somewhere, we move to another place. When we come somewhere, or someone comes to us, we're moving towards the other person in the conversation, or the other person is moving towards us. So come is movement to another person who you are talking to, or that other person moving towards you. But go is moving in a completely different direction to another place. There's a man coming over here. So he's coming, so that means he's moving towards us. But if I say, there's a man going to your car, that means he's not moving towards us, he's going into another place. Or, are you coming to my party? So I'm asking you if you're coming to my party and moving towards me. But if I say, are you going to the party? Then we know it's not my party. I'm talking about a different party and moving to another place. Or, I'm coming to your house. So I'm coming to the person I'm speaking to. Or, I'm going to Tom's house. So I'm moving to another place. Our next ones are take, bring and get. These are commonly confused in English. So, first of all, if we take something, we pick it up and we go somewhere else. If we bring something, we pick it up and we go to the other person we're talking to. Or they pick it up and they come to us. And if we get something, we go, we pick something up and we come back to where we were before. You can see the same thing here. Take is getting something and going somewhere else. Get is getting something, going somewhere, getting something, and coming back to where we were. And bring is going and getting something and going to the other person we're talking to in a different location. Some examples. Are you bringing anything to the picnic? So here I use bring because the other person I'm talking to is coming to my picnic. They're coming to my picnic and they're bringing something. But if I say, are you taking anything to the picnic? then we know that the picnic is somewhere else. It's not my picnic. So, are you taking something and going somewhere else? I might say, on holiday, when I'm at the beach with my friend, did you bring some sunscreen? Oh, great, fantastic. Because they came with me, so they brought something, because they came with me. But if I'm on holiday at the beach and my mum calls me, she might say on the phone, did you take sunscreen? Because she's not with me, she didn't come with me. I was supposed to take the sunscreen and go to another place, not go with her somewhere. What about get? I could say to someone, hey, I've got a runny nose, could you get me a tissue, please? So I'm using get because they're going somewhere, taking something, and coming back to the same place, the same location. If I'm at the picnic and I call my friend and I say, hey, I have a runny nose and I forgot some tissues, can you bring some tissues? Then I'll say bring, because they're going to take them and come to me in a different place. Maybe when you're in a lesson with your teacher on Zoom, you might say, oh, 1 second, I'm going to get my phone, because you're going, getting it, and coming back to the same place. I hope those examples help you. Borrow and lend. Borrow and lend can be a little confusing, but it's not too complicated, don't worry. When we borrow something, we take it from someone else for a period of time. When we lend something, we give it to someone else for a period of time. So, Tom borrowed Sarah's pencil. So Tom took Sarah's pencil. Sarah lent Tom her pencil. So Sarah gave Tom her pencil. So when we lend, we give something for a period of time, and when we borrow it, we take it for a period of time. Until, till, until. Well, the meaning of these is all the same. For example, Sarah said, I'm not giving you anything, Tom, until you give me my pencil back. I'm not giving you anything, Tom, until you give me my pencil back. And we can also replace this with till. I'm not giving you anything, Tom, till you give me my pencil back. Now, till is more informal, so we use till in spoken conversation usually. Until is more formal, and when you're writing, it's the more correct thing to use. If you're doing anything formal in terms of writing, if you're writing an essay, I would 100% of the time use until and just forget about till until. Now, why are there two tills? Don't worry about all that. I don't know, to be honest, and 100% of English speakers won't know either. Well, 99.9%. Till with two L's is supposed to be a lot older than the word until. But whether you write till or till, it doesn't really matter, because actually, when you write, you should use until. So, don't worry, these ones are just for speaking. Tell versus say. First, let's have some rules. First of all, tell is used with the message or the content of the message, but say is usually used with the exact words that were said. Number 2, tell is almost always followed by an object pronoun, like I told you, I told her, I told him, I told them, I told us, etc. Whereas with say, we don't have to do this, but if we do, we need to put to. I said to you, I said to her, I said to him, I said to us, I said to them. Rule number 3, we don't use tell in direct speech. For example, she said hello. This is direct speech. We can see the quotation marks. We can see exactly what she said. Here we can't use tell. Let's have some examples. She said, "What are you doing?" I told her I was hiding from my friend. She said that I was silly. I told her to go away. The main time when we don't use an object pronoun after tell is when we tell a lie, tell a joke, or tell a story. then we don't have to put an object pronoun. Next, affect versus effect. First of all, the pronunciation is the same. If we isolate these words, that means say them without any words around them, then affect with an A is affect, and effect with an E is effect. But when we put them into sentences, affect with an A often won't be stressed and will often become effect in a sentence anyway. So in terms of pronunciation, don't worry, they're the same. Now, what's the difference? Affect with an A is a verb. Effect with an E is a noun. Some examples. How did COVID affect normal life? What effect did COVID have on normal life? Those classes didn't affect my English grade at all. Those classes had no effect on my English grade. That movie had great special effects. Wow. Now, 99.9% of the time, that is how these words work. Verb, noun. However, sometimes this can be a verb and this can be a noun. But it's very, very rare. But I'll tell you the example, the main time when this one can be a verb. And it's when we say, effect change. Martin Luther King effected much change in the country. So this means he brought about change, or he caused change. So the word has a slightly different meaning when we use effect as a verb, but it's very rare and we don't do it very often. And it will almost always be followed by change, effect change. Okay, it's versus its. So one of these has an apostrophe. An apostrophe is that little mark which represents a letter which is missing. The letter that's missing is I, because it's with an apostrophe is short for it is. So if you're not sure which one to use, read your sentence with it is. If it is works, then you need an apostrophe in your it's. If it is doesn't work, then you don't need an apostrophe. Some examples. It's a really lovely day today. Here, can I say it with it is? It is a really lovely day today. Yes, I can, so I need the apostrophe in its. The cheese is past its expiration date. Here, can I say it with it is? The cheese is past its expiration date? No, I can't. So this is its with no apostrophe. Its expiration date means the expiration date of the cheese. Than and then. Than is used for comparisons. The boy is taller than the girl, so we're comparing them. The girl is shorter than the boy. And then is like after or next, and it shows what happens, what's the following event in a sequence of events. In the morning, I get up, then I have a shower, then I brush my teeth, then I have breakfast. So you can see this is a sequence of events. And then means the next thing happens after the last thing. Then I do this, then I do that. To and to. So pronunciation is the same. However, sometimes to, if it's not stressed in a sentence, it will just become to. Not all the time, but sometimes it will become to. For example, I like to play football. Well, usually we'll say, I like to play football. To. I like to play football. Now, to. What does to mean with two O's? So it has two uses. Two uses. Number one is when we say that something is so much or so strong that we don't like it anymore. This food is too salty. That means there's more salt in it than I like. I don't like it anymore. Or it's too hot today. So it's hotter than I like. I don't like it anymore. Or the music is too loud. So the music is louder than I like. I don't like it anymore. So when we say something is to something, it means it's a negative thing. So it's different from saying it's very. If I say the music is very loud, it doesn't mean I don't like it. Maybe I like it, maybe I don't. If I say the music is too loud, it means I don't like it. The food is very salty, maybe I like very salty food. So this might be good, it might be bad. If I say the food is too salty, then I don't like it. We can also use to agree with a positive statement. If someone says, "Nice to meet you," I can say, "Nice to meet you too." Or, "I really liked that book. I liked that book too." So a positive statement that I'm agreeing with, I can put to at the end. Or, "I'm 25 years old. I'm 25 years old too." Now be careful, because if there's a negative statement, we'll use either. "I didn't like that book. I didn't like it either. I'm not 25 years old. I'm not 25 either. I'm 30. Remember versus remind. So again, this is another one, I think, like borrow and lend, which could be confusing. However, there is a very clear logic underneath to help you understand. So remind is like make someone remember. You're telling someone to help them remember something. But remember is just remember, and I'm sure you're confident and know how to use remember. For example, I just remembered I have to get up early tomorrow. But can you remind me to buy more coffee tomorrow? So, can you tell me tomorrow, "Archie, you need to buy coffee." Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me. So can you remind me is can you make me remember? Can you tell me later on so I remember? Or, you didn't remind me to feed the fish. It nearly died. So you didn't make me remember. You didn't tell me to help me remember to do something. So to remind someone is to make them remember or help them remember something. Listen versus hear. Listen means to pay attention. If we're listening, we're paying attention. Whereas if we're hearing, it's just a passive thing. So maybe I hear the birds outside my window, and then I start to listen to them. Because I think it's so beautiful, and I pay attention. You can't not hear, because you can't turn off your ears. Unless, of course, you're deaf, then you can't hear. But listening, you can listen, and also you can choose not to listen. If I don't like a person, I think, I'm not going to listen. So listening is paying attention, and hearing is passive. If you want to learn more about that, check out my video somewhere up here, or go back to it later, and I'll also put the link in the description. Now, this is probably the most complicated one, because there are not clear rules, but answer, reply, and respond. What's the difference? Well, let's start with answer. Answer is the most different from the other two. When we answer something, it's usually a question, like, "How are you?" "I'm great." Or a question at school, "What's 10 plus 10? 20. So then I'm answering a question. Now, answer can be a noun and it can be a verb. It can be both. So we can answer a question, or we can give an answer to a question. Now, two other main times that we use answer is when the phone rings and you answer the phone, or the doorbell rings, or someone knocks on the door and you answer the door and greet them. Greet them is say hello, start speaking to them. Now, reply and respond are to react to something that someone said, and respond can be to react to something that someone did as well. So if someone says hello, they're not asking us a question, and we can reply to them or we can respond to them. If someone throws a hot dog at your head, then you can't reply to them, but you can respond to them in some way. And maybe you respond to them by punching them, or you respond to them by shouting at them. Now, otherwise, respond and reply are pretty similar. I have a few examples for you. When she didn't respond, he continued. How do we respond to this? She smiled at his reply. She opened her mouth to give a reply, but he started speaking over her. Now, reply is often used in stories as well. So, when someone reacts to something someone else has said in a story. Tom said, "What are you doing, Sarah?" "Nothing," Sarah replied. Another time that we use respond very often in English is RSVP. RSVP is what we write at the bottom of an invitation that we give to someone for a party, for a wedding, and it's French and means "Respondez s'il vous plaît." Please respond. And who knows why we use the French, but we do. So when we're talking about an invitation, we often respond to an invitation. One other note is respond is more formal than reply. So if you write a formal email to your boss, you might say, "I'm very sorry I've taken a long time to respond." This would be more suitable than using the word reply. Both would be okay, but respond is slightly better in a formal context. Text, type and write. Confusing. So, basically, when we text something, we're using our phone and we're sending a message on our phone. Text really makes me think of SMS, the older form of sending messages. But obviously now we have WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Telegram, so we can send messages with these apps too, and we would also call this texting or sending a text. So it's a short written message that we do on our phone, which is an instant way of communication. It can be a noun or it can be a verb. You can text someone or you can send someone a text. Type means to write on the computer, or it could also be on your phone. It's when you're moving your fingers like this, you're typing. When you type a message, you're creating the message, so you haven't finished it and sent it. Whereas when you text a message, you've completed the message and you've sent it to the person. Writing is just a general word for all of these things, and also for writing by hand. Usually if we say writing, we're thinking of writing by hand, but you could write a document on a computer as well, or you could type the document. Another note is text can also refer to a section of writing, not necessarily on your phone. It could also be the text in a book, and we could say, "Oh, the text is too small, I can't read it." Or, "There's too much text here, I think you should make it less, because otherwise people won't want to read it." Or maybe your teacher in your English class will give you a piece of paper and say, "Here is a text, everyone. Please read the text in silence." So a text can also be a section of writing, as well as a single individual message that you send someone on your phone. Breathe and breath. If we breathe, then that's a verb, and breath is a noun. So we take a breath and we breathe. When you do meditation, you breathe through your nose and breathe out your mouth. Or you take a breath through your nose and let the breath out through your mouth. So that's how we use those words. Make and do. Now there is a general rule, but I will emphasise it is general, so it won't give you absolute 100% understanding of when to use these words every time, because it's a general rule and there are exceptions. However, the general rule is when we make something, it doesn't exist. We create it. So if I make a cup of tea, I take a cup, I put a tea bag in, I put water in, and ta-da! A cup of tea now exists, and before it didn't. Or if I make a sculpture, then again I'm creating it, and something exists that didn't exist before. Whereas if you do something, it's something that's already exists and you're just completing it, or doing something with it. like I do my homework. So my homework already exists and I just complete it. Or I do the laundry. So the laundry, the dirty sheets, they already exist, I just wash them and I change them. So make is something that we create and do is something that already exists. For more on this, check out the video somewhere up here to understand even better. Okay everyone, we've come to the end of all of the words today. That was so many, so well done for making it to the end. I hope that helped. If you want another video about any of these in more detail, then let me know. If there are any other confusing words for you, let me know. And please do subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my other videos.